Sorry, just so that everyone's aware, Bailey Williamson has submitted his apologies, so I'll be chairing the meeting this morning. So, good morning and welcome to the special meeting of Tayside Contracts Joint Committee. I'd like to remind the Joint Committee that the public part of this meeting will be recorded and placed on Tayside Contracts website for public viewing. Members should keep microphones on mute throughout the meeting unless they are speaking. I'll now ask the clerk to take us through the agenda.
Thank you, convener. I'll now take a roll call for the minute. If members could confirm their presence when I call their names. Received apologies for Bailey Williamson. Councillor Lane.
Present.
Is absent.
Present.
Apologies. Councillor McCall.
Present.
Councillor Forbes.
I'm present, but I'm having some sound issues. I'll try and resolve them as we get into it.
Okay. Councillor Shires. Councillor Shires.
I believe I can see her, but I believe she's having sound issues as well.
Yeah, she is. She's in the same office as me and having the same trouble as me, but she is here.
Thank you. Councillor Cuthbert.
Present.
Councillor Rome.
I'm here.
Bailey Roberts.
I'm here.
Thank you. Councillor Short. And Mark is absent. Councillor Scullin.
Present.
I've received apologies for Councillor Shears and Councillor Duncan. Councillor Durno.
Present.
Yeah. Councillor Cowdy.
Present.
I've received apologies for Councillor Meehan. Councillor Shepherd.
Present.
Councillor Fotheringham.
Present.
And Councillor Gregg.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call.
Thank you, Lynn. Can you just confirm how many councillors we have in the meeting then? Sorry.
I will do 13.
Right, thank you. Next item then, please.
Item 2 is declaration of interest. Are there any declarations to the agenda as it stands?
Don't see any declarations. I don't see any written comments either. I'll take that as no declarations.
Item 3 is review of Tayside Contracts Excellence Awards, and this is for approval.
Thank you. I believe Mr. McNamara is speaking to this report. Keith, do you want to take us off?
Thanks very much, Vice Convener, and good morning, everybody. This report advises the Joint Committee there's a financial risk in the delivery of the organisation's Tayside Excellence Awards in its traditional format. As a reminder, this is a annual awards activity and ceremony which honours and celebrates the exceptional public service by Tayside Contracts employees. The event takes place in May, so there is a time factor involved in the decision around this item today. The risk that I talk about was highlighted in a report to the Joint Committee on this subject in November last year. In its traditional format, the event relies heavily on sponsorship. Around 75% of the costs are funded from sponsorship. We were finding that recently sponsorship was increasingly hard to achieve due to the challenging economic climate. In anticipation of this risk, we surveyed prospective sponsors for this event. The results highlighted that only 25% of sponsors responded favourably to say that they would actually be prepared to sponsor the event. Therefore, our assessment is there is a realistic prospect we would not secure sufficient sponsorship and therefore would spend substantially over our budget, estimated at an additional cost of £34,000, and that would be in the order of £23,000 over our budget for this event. And obviously we wish to avoid unbudgeted costs at any time, but more especially in view of the significant financial pressures facing councils. The alternative to holding this event, as proposed at the November meeting, was to hold a streamlined event, which would be very similar to Dundee City Council's Oscars event, which by all accounts is very successful, which would actually be £5,000 less than our budgeted amount and would not need sponsorship. Therefore, we avoid any risk of not achieving sponsorship. Therefore, we recommend that the Joint Committee agrees to proceed with the streamlined event as detailed in Appendix 1, Option 2 of the report. Thank you, Vice Convener.
Thank you, Keith. Do you have any questions on this report? Just give it a minute. Councillor Cuthbert, please.
Yeah, just a brief question. Has there been any movement in terms of more sponsorship since this report was done? Because I think this came out a while ago.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Cuthbert. Yeah, no movement at all in terms of the responses back from sponsors.
Thank you. Councillor Lang.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there'd been any sounding out of where the venue would be likely to be held.
We've not come to that conclusion, Councillor Lane, because we're seeking approval in terms of if we actually proceed with the venue.
So just wondering
proceed with the event. Sorry.
Okay, is it moved around the local authorities then?
It hasn't done so in the past, but I'm open to looking at that. There is an issue that because it's Tayside contracts wide, colleagues have to come from relatively far-flung parts of Tayside, so therefore geographically a central location does make more sense.
Thanks, Keith. Are you happy with that, Councillor Lang?
Yeah, but I think we shared everything equally, so I think the venue should be moved around.
I think that's a fair comment, Councillor Lang, and yeah, obviously we can look at that if this report is passed, and I think Mr. McNair's given that assurance. So thank you.
I'm happy to do so.
Councillor Shepherd, please.
I was just wondering, from the report, it mentions that the number of attendees may have to drop from roughly 500 to 150. So just wonder, like, what people aren't going to be coming along anymore, and is it going to be less staff or are actually able to attend? Just the exact semantics of that. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Shepherd. The numbers would be more 400 down to 150, but I do take your point. For example, one group of people that we wouldn't need at the event anymore would be the sponsors, because if there's no sponsorship, there's no need to invite sponsors. So usually sponsors, each of the sponsors usually had several people involved at the event. I'll not get away from the fact that the revised version would have less members of staff involved in the event. I think that's just the nature of downscaling the event.
Thanks, Mr. McNair. Does that answer your question, Councillor Shepherd?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Councillor McCall next, please.
Thank you. It's more just really a point in terms of geography that Councillor Lane raised. I would think, just off the top of my head, geographically, probably Cooper Angus is probably a more central location or more equidistant location than Dundee for most people. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any further comments on this item? Just give it a little minute. I don't see any further hands raised or comments in the chat. Can we take this item as agreed then, as is?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Next item then, please, Elaine.
Thank you, Vice Convener. That concludes the public part of the agenda.
Thank you.
There are
So
no
can I ask that? Sorry, Elaine, I'll let you go on.
Sorry, there are no present public in the meeting, and I'll now stop the recording.
Thank you.